Boop, boop, boop. Beep, 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 boop, beep, boop, beep, beep, boop, beep, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, beep. Beep. Okay. Okay, class. Okay, class. Whoop. There we go. There we go. That's something. That's something. Okay, class. Let us get ready for the stream today. Let's do some streaming today, guys. Doesn't that sound like fun? Discordo goes right here. Okie dokie. Artichoke. Let me open this up too. Do I not have so many tabs and none of them are what I want them to be? It's really something. It's really something. Meow, 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 meow. Let's open this bad boy. Move this tab here. Move here. Twitch chat. I think today we're going to do something a little bit funky. I think we're going to use StreamWorld, at least the light version of it. I think StreamWorld will actually look fine with this camera, but I think this should work well. So let's do hi. And yeah, it pops up. All right, sweet. So I think we're going to do StreamWorld today. I think that's what we're doing. And let's move the chat box to a reasonable position. Yeah, at some point I'm going to actually go through and actually write a better version of our dynamic stream overlay. Yeah. We're going to do that. I have some better ideas. StreamWorld was a nice idea. But there's some flaws, critical flaws. So we're going to try to make it better. More better. And more lightweight too. I don't really need Unity stuff. I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, snipping tool. Let's take a nice little picture of ourselves so that we can post it on X and Blue Sky. Oh, that's a good face. That's I feel like the Grinch. I don't know. That's good enough. No. Anyways, we're gonna get started soon. I think we're gonna do a little bit of game deving, like in 30 minutes, maybe an hour, and then we're gonna play this game. Maybe do some game deving afterwards to kind of go through what we thought. I have zero knowledge about this game. Zero knowledge. Honestly, low-key, I kind of just want to jump into it. One second. One Segushi. Let me figure something out real quick. Turning into an obnoxious streamer. Streamer personality. Oh well. I guess we all become what we hate eventually, right? What we hate. Maybe not all of us. But why stream if you do not wish to be seen? Art that not profound? Game I have zero knowledge of. Deving. It'd be kind of cool having a book club of sorts, but for games. A game club that exists purely just to have a nice shared community of people to share your thoughts, to play games together independently, and then share your thoughts of said game. That does sound quite nice. Sharing these things. Though there's this weird idea that's been kind of cropping up more and more, which is like an idea of thought pollution. And it specifically comes to things of like media that requires some kind of analysis, personal analysis of off. I misspelled it. Oh well. Copy image. Paste said image. Is this not life? But yeah, there's the idea of thought pollution that's been kind of cropping up as of late for me. Where a lot of times you consume something, you either read a book or play a game or something to that effect. And once you play it, maybe not a lot of people, but there's quite a few people who just immediately go online and find like a YouTube video essay or something about it that tells you a analysis of it, an interpretation of it. And it kind of robs you of the experience of actually doing your own analysis, thinking critically about what you just played or read or listened, and robs you of that opportunity to derive your own meaning from it. And the reason I kind of think it's like thought pollution is because once you hear somebody else's analysis of it, it kind of limits your own ability to do an analysis of it, because you already have their thought process embedded into you. You already have what they think in your mind, as opposed to what you think. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Anyways, doing some stuff with Messy Mansion, some real quick fixes. I'm almost done doing this audio thing where if you pick up dust, it plays a sound effect. I think that's pretty cool. And this is me just doing a not lazy way of doing this. I tried doing a very lazy way, but I just kind of gave up and said, screw it, we'll just do it the proper way, which is having a timer when the player enters something and actually doing the thing. Resources.load. I forgot what the name of this guy is. SFX. Dust.wave. Nice. We load it. Why are you angry? Oh, because I did a semicolon instead of a regular comma. A regular comma. I used to call commas comas in middle school, and my teachers and my classmates would make fun of me. And I was perplexed. Anyways. Oh, let me actually do one last thing. I'm trying to go on all platforms instead of showing favoritism towards one. Oh crap. Eat. I'll just take my phone. Hey, yo. Okay, what's going on? I'm trying to build my own game engine to make a simple 2D RPG kind of like MapleStory. Wait, let me read this properly. My question is about pixel art. I draw a lot on my screen tablet, but I'm not sure if drawing helps directly with pixel art. It 100% does help out with pixel art. 100%. 100%. And in fact, I think ideas of classical art, maybe not classical art, but a lot of principles of art in general, or I guess a lot of concepts from traditional art are very much directly applicable to pixel art. And it will benefit you. The better of an artist you become, the better you can get at pixel arting. I'm assuming fundamentals transfer to pixels. Yeah, exactly. Like coloring. Yeah. Oh my god. You know what? Oh my goodness. What? Like every other stream, I feel like we end up having we end up popping up my PowerPoint presentation about doing pixel art, and I have to fight the urge to just do the whole presentation. Maybe it's a sign I just need to finish doing this at some point. But yes, there's a lot of overlap between some traditional ideas that you get from traditional art, like breadth and all that kind of stuff, that translate directly to it. Before I do any diatribe about art, I'm kind of curious about. I mean, you already told me your idea, right? You want to do something like MapleStory. Let's see if I remember. I think I might be remembering the art style to be flatter than it actually is. Let's look at pixel art. Pixel art. Okay, so it's not really as flat as I would have expected. A lot more values going on for sure. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Oh no, I don't want it. Let me see the art. I want to see the art. So I'm assuming this is something kind of akin to what you're trying to do, if I'm not mistaken. These are pretty small canvases. My character probably will be slightly more detailed. More about the environments. Okay, so let's search up environments then. Environment. So let me know if this is correct. Is MapleStory isometric? I could have sworn it wasn't isometric, but I don't know. Unfortunately did not grow up with MapleStory. Also, did you call these character canvases small? Brother, this is humongous. This is so much real estate. I'm so used to working within tiny canvas sizes. I'm so used to working within tiny baby small canvases. No, it's 2D. Okay, I'm remembering correctly. How many pixels is this? Yeah, this is easily like what? 120, maybe like 64 if not bigger. Probably like 64 bigger than 64 by 64. Let's actually do a little bit. Shall we do a little bit of investigation? I believe I already have an Aseprite open somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. But this is fine. We'll go in here because I was doing some practice with normals. Oh, my sibilance is terrible. Okay, Pace. How approximately big are each pixel? Let's do some math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. So we have to make this 1/10 its current size. So we'll just do, I don't know, divided by 10. Okay, so it's like 61 by 93. Okay, so yeah, it's bigger than 64. It's like a kind of 64-ish in size. Get rid of this disgusting background. But yeah, it's kind of reasonably large. For context, my character portraits. Can we find one? Let's find one. One moment. as I look at my assets. Do I have to go up one more level? No, characters. There we go. NPCs. There we go. Her, for example. Her character portrait. This is a low... What? Did I not save the thing? Wow, that's kind of sad. She's 64 by 64. So you can kind of see... Like her head... That's actually so funny. The proportions are so exaggerated. Like her head is the same size as their head, but then the rest of the body fits between there. But that's just for reference. That's for reference. Anyways, but yeah, environment. Start with a smaller canvas. Because I think in pixel art, every pixel matters, needs to live a purpose, kind of like art, and every line matters. Yeah, it's there's again to the presentation. Jeez, all right. Anyways, yeah, there's this idea of like, where does digital art separate itself? And there's a great quote from someone who was on Pixel Joint who said, "It is when the pixels hold importance to the nature of the work which defines it as pixel art." And like a great example is this little Mario. In fact, let me move my dumb face out of the way real quick. Or better yet, can I just slideshow it? Yeah, you're missing stuff. You can still see the idea. We're like moving a handful of pixels drastically changes how we perceive Mario and his characteristics. This is a very extreme example because it's a very low resolution, but it shows the idea that one or two pixel changes can drastically change it, and that's kind of where the beauty of pixel art comes from. But I'm not going to be a stickler for resolution. Anyways, you were asking about environmental art, correct? Environmental art. And let me get a feel for MapleStory's environmental art. Is this a fair... Is there a specific map you want me to search up? Does MapleStory have that? What's a map that you see it from MapleStory and you're like, I want to do that. Let me get some of that. And that will help better inform what we talk about. You like my comically large mug? Very large. I was looking at Spriter's resources, but they just have NPC sprites. Interesting. Can we say levels? Yeah, Spriter's resources is awesome. A wealth of things to go off of there. Oh, you know, can I just Google like MapleStory screenshots? Okay, here we go. We have some environments here. Oh my, oh my goodness. Is this accurate? Is this actually MapleStory's environments? Because quite a lot of it looks almost HD. Like it's almost like pixel art characters juxtaposed against HD. Let's actually look at the background. Let's take a look. Yeah, they look HD. I think the background is art. Yeah, it's like it's illustrative art. It's pixel art. Got you. So everything that's interactable is pixel art. And everything that is not interactable is traditional or digital illustrations. Heck, even the foreground I think is just illustrative too. So I think only the characters are actually pixel art. Interesting. So the question becomes, are you trying to make your backgrounds also pixel art? Though I guess for the scale you're gonna be working at, there's still some general principles at play. Gold Beach, okay. Maple Story. But yeah, just a 2D platformer with very nice, vibrant colors. Okay. All right, let's look here. I'm using Ecoisia. Wait, I think you've already brought this up before. I think we've talked about this at some point. Because I just remember someone bringing up Maple Story Gold Beach at some point. Or maybe I'm just having some weird deja vu. Can I please say, I would like to see the background, please. Could I please see the art? The map? Okay, let's a little look at it. Oh, even better. Gameplay. Actual gameplay. Alright. For example. Okay, the palm trees. Okay. Ooh. So something kind of interesting though. But there's one general idea that can apply to this, which is hue shifting. But yeah, one thing I do notice is there's a lot of gradients in the palm tree. And if you're doing pixel art, that might be kind of tricky because usually you want to use limited palettes. Maple Story is kind of an oddball though, because they actually use quite a lot of shades for their pixel art. So they're not using a very limited palette, in all honesty. Like, it seems like they're trying to make it feel HD and not go retro. Anyways, are you familiar with the idea of hue shifting? Have I discussed this at all? If not, I can go over the idea of what this tackles. Is there feedback? I thought I heard feedback for a moment there. Ba 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 ba. In fact, I kind of want to yoink some of the art here for illustrative purposes. Coloring with art, but I'm also maybe there's stuff, I don't know, with pixel art, hue shifting. Yeah, so this is something that seems to be prevalent with what they are doing. So with art in general, oh my goodness, I forgot, it's a really big resolution, isn't it? Yeah, let me just take a little gander at this. And let's actually use a not normal map palette and use a normal palette. Yeah, there we go. Let me just take a little gander at this. So anyways, and I'm not saying this about you because I haven't seen your art, so I'm not sure if that's something you deal with at all, whatever it is. But there's something a lot of artists do where they have their colors, the colors they want to use for a character or whatever. And let's say like they have a red shirt for whatever reason. Character at some point that has a red shirt. Doop, boop, 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 boop. Cool, red shirt. But now they want to simulate some kind of lighting, and they do a little due diligence. They say, hey, my light source is up here, and we're going to have it go down at an angle like so. Fantastic. Let's start actually drawing the shadows. So they take their color, and then they just go, you know what? We're going to move this one thing down. The value, we're going to make it darker, and we're just going to fill it in there. Bang, bang, boom, bam, bam. Cool. Doot, 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 doot. And then maybe they need a little bit of darker color for the shadow. So they, again, bring it down a little bit more. And then that's it. They call it a day. It's like, whatever. It's all good. That's all I wanted. Now, maybe that is indeed what they wanted, but a lot of times they're leaving some juice on the table, some juice that's available to them to help make things pop a little bit differently. And that is that is due to the fact that they're only changing one variable, value. Now, when it comes to color, there's two other components at play. They have hue and they have saturation. So, going back to here, there's actually a keen example of this. Where we have this character on the left that is shaded with the same process I showed you. And this is the way I used to do it back in like middle school and high school. I would just take the color, make it a little bit darker, and then send it. But you might notice that this character over here looks significantly different. It kind of pops a little bit more. Why is that? Well, one of the main things is we're changing the hue. So as the color goes darker, not only does the value go lower, we also shift the hue from this base green that we have here towards red incrementally. And we don't only do that for the dark tone, we also do it for the mid-tone. They all kind of move from their starting point to this other point. And this is cool because it not only adds additional contrast to your colors, it also adds more temperature information to it. So you can make your colors feel warmer if it's supposed to be in a warmer place, or it's communicating something that's warm or colder. So the difference between, let's say, warm sand versus cold metal pipes, right? Depending on what your subject is, you're going to shift things to different color bases and tones. And the reason I bring this up is that that's kind of one key thing they're doing here when you look at their palm. When you look at their palm, you're going to notice not only does this change, saturation also changes, but likewise the hue over here is going to change it. So as we go from the light tone, it starts moving a little bit. See that? Between our starting point versus our end point. So your colors could go through different paths. And even from here, there's even more further extremes in terms of the direction it goes through. So this is one principle that's being employed. Hue shifting. It's very helpful. Gives you a lot of options at your disposal. And it makes your color choices a bit more richer. Even if it's a limited color palette, that alone can make a huge significant change. And I'd encourage you to also do that. Go through some art from MapleStory, click on it, and then see how they choose their colors. What kind of path does their colors take from this light to their darks? And that can help inform your art and making sure that your color choices and palettes and shades and lights and whatever mimic what they do for the same kind of circumstances. So I think that's one super simple way to go about it. There's more to stuff like choosing your light sources and trying to light things accurately, but that may not be the case here because they don't quite always do accurate lighting, and it's kind of done for more stylistic stuff. But in general, it seems relatively accurate. You know, they choose, it seems their light source is definitely coming from one place. There's just kind of some consistency with it in terms of where the brights are for their leaves, for the shack, for even the drink here. It's kind of generally pointing towards the same direction. But yeah, that's one little nugget of information that I found to be very helpful for me. Hopefully it's beneficial for you in your journey. And of course, if you want some feedback, feel free to share at some point. Yeah, I've been playing around with light sources to start with, like drawing blue sphere and applying shine to it depending on where the light is coming from. Yeah, it's super, super cool. It's very helpful to get, gives me some exercises. I've done some beginner stuff on drawing. That's sick. And that's super important fundamental stuff. And once you get comfortable with just understanding where's the lights and where is the shadows and what shadows are cast by what, you can start going to like the next level of playing around with your specularity, with your diffuse, and with your ambient colors. When you look at materials, and this maybe doesn't apply as much to their art style because their art style is much more 2D illustrative, and it's not meant to model real physical objects. So you don't really need to do too much of that. I mean, actually, no. There is some ideas with there's certain objects like the glass and whatnot. And this is a cool general thing to know about because it's fundamental to. 1 second. It's fundamental to general graphics, like everything. A lot of things use this kind of general structure. If I can find this slide, I haven't fully detailed this out yet. But yeah, materials have kind of different fluctuations within these 3 properties. When it comes to graphics, you have these 3 fundamental things. Let me move my dumb face real quick. Let's get this guy out of the way. He's kind of a little distracting. No, I'm not trying to see more of it. I'm trying to get rid of it. Get out of here. Okay, that's reasonable. So here's like a look at like a decomposition of like Phong reflection, where typically you start with an object that has a base color, and then you apply something called the ambient lighting. So in general, light, there's not just one, like your light, when you look at light sources, a photon that comes from that lamp right there does not just hit my skin and die. It doesn't. It bounces around. And likewise, if that light were to hit the ground, it's not going to die there. Some of that light is going to bounce from the ground and hit me. And that's going to change the color you perceive. And you can call that ambient lighting. Light that's contributed not directly from the light sources like your sun or a light bulb, but rather from the light reflected off the ground and environment. So that's what your ambient is. Diffuse is the light that actually comes directly from a light source that hits your skin. It's that most of the light that directly hits you. So in this case, if I turn off that light source, you'll see most of the diffuse lighting is here. This is the stuff that's largely directly hit by the light source. Whereas something like underneath here, underneath my jaw, my Giga Chad jaw, there's a little darkness there because there's no light directly hitting it. So that is diffuse lighting. And then finally there's specularity. This is the nice shiny little stuff you get from very glassy materials, very smooth materials. It's really cool though. Transfers to pixel art. Yeah, 100%. Because when you go to pixel art, you're making conscious choices about how smooth or rough is a surface. And then from there, it's going to translate into, okay, how do I go about shading to it? Do I do direct lighting? Do I add specularity like this metal one? And how big is that specularity? If it's meant to be a smooth object, like metal or glass or whatever, then you're going to have that specularity be stronger but more concentrated. And likewise, you can play around with the ambient lighting as well. They're all factors that affect it and change it. Recently for Aseprite. Sick! Alright, so you've already been doing the homework. You've already been doing it. And then this extends to a bunch of different types of materials. You can do like texture balls for different types of things, of grass, wood, whatever. Honestly, that stuff might be, what directly pertinent to what you're doing. But, yeah. Super important. All this stuff translate, and it's very universal across art. The only thing related to pixel art is more so technique stuff. But even then, you're likely for what you're doing, you're going to be working at larger resolution, so there's less ambiguity, and there's more real estate for you to play with. At lower resolutions, you have to be very conscious about things like lines and the types of angles you use to achieve your effect, or how do you structure your curvature. Your color palette as well, and there's this other factor that at play in terms of intention versus perception, where at lower resolutions there's lower fidelity, so there's a wiggle room for reinterpretation of what you're communicating here. So you can end up situations like this where you drew this with the intention to communicate this character here, but when a person plays your game and they look at this sprite, they end up interpreting this guy instead, due to the ambiguity of the resolution. So these are things that you're likely not going to be wrestling with too strongly due to working in a higher resolution that limits the amount of interpretation that your viewers look at. And at that point, more traditional art stuff is going to be much more pertinent. Because I think the more I add space, the more detailed stuff needs to be. I don't think I'm ready for that yet. I'm doing smaller, simple projects, trees, shears. Gotcha. Then yeah, at this point, a lot of this stuff is going to be a function of time, a function of you just putting in the work, the effort, iterating a lot for your art, and making those incremental changes, and then trying with different constraints as well. One sec. Excuse me. I'm yapping so much yapping. But yeah, I think that's largely most of the stuff that comes to mind. Do you draw with a tablet or a mouse? Either or, depending on what I'm doing. For large character illustrations like her, I would actually start with a tablet. Not an Aseprite. I usually illustrate in Clip Studio Paint, just to get a good feel for how she's gonna look, and then from there I translate directly to Aseprite. At lower resolutions, I actually just work directly on the canvas. So instead of her, for stuff like character sprites that are like based on 32 by 32 sprites, those things I work directly at in Aseprite, and I just don't, like, for example, this character sprite. I just started working directly in Aseprite because the limitations of the medium is far more important than what you're intending to do, so it just works better there for me. For normal art, I thought Aseprite though, and go-to for pixel art. Yeah, and it's honestly my favorite. Aseprite is honestly my favorite. Yeah, animations is very easy in Aseprite. It is incredibly fast to iterate, and also tile sets. It may not be as pertinent for you because you see most of the environments seem to be more, well, I guess, more for foreground stuff. But for what I'm doing, it requires textures that loop seamlessly. So having the option to do, tile mode on both axes and then be able to draw across all of them to make sure everything is seamless is incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. And it sucks that no illustrative software offers that, as seamlessly and as easily as Aseprite does. Honestly, I would use Aseprite for everything if I could. Using tile sets, yeah, like the game engine I'm making is eventually going to support a tile set system. Yeah, it's super duper handy. I'm like hearing a little bit of feedback occasionally. That's kind of driving me a little nuts, dude. How's the engine coming along though? Is your first one, or are you done previous engines? Starting with OpenGL, or how are we going with that? Also, I was gonna send I was gonna post on Instagram, so let me do that before I forget. Because of course we're being Insta nerd. First one, but I'm pretty comfy with C++, so I decided to go for it. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Just get it. That's beautiful that you're making your own your engine for this. Honestly, as soon as I finish my game, I'm gonna start continuing, or not. I'm gonna go back and work on my engine. I'm gonna scrap my current iteration and actually make a new one from the ground up with C++ and probably Vulkan, or probably an abstraction. I'm probably gonna have to do an abstraction for APIs. That way I can target multiple platforms. It's just kind of what you got to do, man. It's just kind of what you got to do. It's unfortunately the state of affairs. One second. Let's not take a picture of my face. I'm trying to take a picture of the screen. Thank you very much. Let me read what you said properly. Yeah, like learning process. A lot of people say just to use a pre-made engines, but in my opinion, you don't learn much by using someone else's tools compared to make. Yeah, 100%. It's low-level programming experience. It's the best you can do for your career long term. Oh yeah, and not only in terms of a career, you're only as independent as the tools you use. So if you're tied to Unity, you're gonna be tied to Unity for that game for your life. Like, you can't like, you're stuck with them. So if Unity does something dumb or stupid, you're bound to it. Likewise with Unreal or whatever. So there's that one element of just independence. Second thing, what you're talking about, knowledge. Very important. A lot of game devs, I feel, a lot of people feel kind of hopeless because they're tied to the limitations of their engine, or they're spending a lot of their time fighting the limitations of their engine. But if you have your own engine, you can do stuff. You have the freedom to make your tool fit you like a glove. You don't have to worry about making something that appeals to everyone. You can make it just appeal to what you need it to do, which is beautiful. And on top of that, your game is going to be it's going to have a lower memory and lower memory footprint, most likely, and take less processing time, because instead of having all this junk that you don't need, you're just going to use exactly what you need, and that's just going to make your game leaner and a better experience, assuming that you handle bugs and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's there's no replacement for having your own hand-rolled engine. And likewise, there's a lot of frameworks out there, or not frameworks, a lot of tools for engine development too. If you want to make an engine but you don't want to spend too much time implementing stuff, there's abstractions and modules and stuff that people has already written that you can use, like Raylib, for example. So if you want to get going fast and you want to just take other people's abstractions, you could do that as well. You have that stuff at your disposal. I like personally hand rolling everything, but it's cool that that's a thing. It's not as hard in this climate. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. 1 second. Live now. Deving. Giving feedback, I guess. Then playing this enigma of a game. Yeah, should have done this at the top. Oh well. And post. Anyways, let me properly read. Can I take out the chat? Can I do that? Can I please export the chat? Pop out chat. Yes. It's exactly what I needed. Of custom engines, you can shape it exactly how you want. You don't want to have to be overwhelmed with hundreds of features. Yep. Don't know if you know the game Factorio. That's a nice example of a solo dev who made their own engine. Yeah, I didn't know Factorio did that, but I've seen Factorio and it's pretty awesome. And it's pretty impactful in terms of its shaping of that genre, which is pretty awesome. It's so, and then there's a guy I respect a lot is Jonathan Blow, because he's not only making his own game engines for all the games he's worked on, but he's making his own programming language and writing a game engine in said programming language for his game. And it's not like a small trivial game either, but it's kind of amazing. It's pretty beautiful, man. It's insane. It's a low-level language to beat C++. Is wild. Yeah, big respect. It's pretty interesting though, because a lot of what he describes, even in his initial video like 8 years ago, is actually pretty relevant. And it got me in thinking about, because we're so used to object-oriented programming and we're kind of inundated with every single thing we do, that we forget about things like ideas. Like, I never really hear concerns or people thinking about cache coherency or any of that kind of stuff, but that's kind of a big thing, and that's kind of a big thing that's kind of broken from just the general structure of object orientation. And it's interesting trying to make a language that affords you some of that without having those cache coherency issues. He installed it in an interesting way. I'm not sure if he's still doing it though, because that was like 8 years ago and the language could have very well changed. But yeah, it's cool. Like, there's still people who want to do things the older, harder way, but also make treat programming like a craft and actually trying to make something good with it, and not taking hardware for granted either. So yeah, that's a big thing that's been on my mind. And even for like my game, like our game that I'm making, or the game I'm making here, is not that crazy, and yet I still had to make custom tooling for it that doesn't exist in Unity, because Unity just doesn't have these, they just impose these limitations on there. So if you look, you might notice that the ground, it has this interesting kind of tile map thing. Like, as the geometry of traditional terrain. Oh, I suck. Oh my goodness, I suck at my own game. How embarrassing. Yeah, this is my game. Let me get to more environment. And I want you to see more of the environment. So you see, like, there's tiles, there's like a normal terrain here, but there's also grass and dirt and different types of blocks. If I go over to this area here, you'll notice that oh, I forgot to implement this. You'll see there's different tiles there too, and if you go further, I need to fix some bugs. There's more tiles here. Having tiles on Unity's terrain thing is not a thing they afford you or allow you to do. They typically only afford you 3 different types of textures, and you can blend between them on their terrain system. But for a game like this, we want to have a bunch of different types of tiles. We want to have a large variety available to us. So I had to hijack Unity's terrain tool, make a custom shader for it, or material for it, material shader, make a custom terrain painter tool that allows you to have a tile map and paint directly on top of it instead of using what they have. And it just shows how limited it is. Wait, how much experience do you have? Like, how long have you been in? Well, in this game? I've been working on it for a couple months. I mean, it's getting close to a year at this point. I think I started in August last year. But yeah, as far as making games in general, though, I've been doing them for a long time. Been a developer in general since like middle school. Like I made my first game in like 7th or 8th grade. So we go by that, technically, like what? How old am I? 1 second, I have to do some math. What age are people typically in 7th grade? How old are kids in 7th grade? Like 12 or 13? 1 years old? That's crazy. All right, that plus 7 years old put me at around, or not 12 years old. Yeah, we'll say 12. Like 2010, and then it's like what? And it's 25 right now, so like 15 years technically, I guess. That's what it is. Have to do math to subtract 10 from 2025. Yeah, like yeah, 15, like something like that. Yeah. With Unity, I really encourage you to finish your custom engine project then, and more things than Unity can offer. Oh no, this game's already stuck. Like, I'm stuck here in Unity. I'm already stuck here. I want to get a game done. I need to get a game done at some point. Also, this whole lighting system, everything you see here is not using any of Unity's lighting. Like, I'm not using their lighting components. None of that. I'm using my own custom thing. That's another thing. Like, if you look at the directional light, it's a cozy sunlight. And the directional light is the cozy point light. Like, they're all my own lighting components. Because then I don't like how Unity does lighting and baked lighting. So I did my own custom. There's a bunch of reasons for doing this custom rendering pipe or lighting pipeline. A bunch of different reasons, like having vertex lighting like this on the terrain, and having everything like locked into this painting system. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, all the lighting you see here, the fog, everything is done through our own system. But anyways, yeah, like this game is kind of stuck in Unity for now because I really don't want to remake a lot of this stuff. And I really don't want to learn how to read Unity's YAML stuff and decompose it to my own engine's file format. But yeah, after this game, I'm likely going to switch to making my own engine. Yeah, at this point, you should really make your own. Yep. What language do you think you're going to use? I'll probably just use C++, honestly. Like, there's this... I use... So for my first engine, or first iteration of this game engine, I used Rust. Because I was like, hey, I'm tired of C#. I want to do something different. Rust seems very different. It seems very difficult. I want to do something difficult. I like difficult things. Can I go down to this engine? So I wrote it there, and then we got to this point where we have actual game logic, we have a map, we have a sprite, we have my custom lighting system here. So instead of using normal maps, we actually have a custom shader that automatically casts rim lights onto the characters depending on where they are. And here's another demo of it. So it was working. It's great for engines, great memory management too. Well, yeah. See, Rust is... Here's the thing, right? Rust's whole guarantee is safety. Safety, ease of use, whatever. Like for simple things like building and whatnot. But to have their memory safety guarantees, you end up having a program that's significantly slower because it's not very cache friendly, which sucks. Now, there's other languages out there that are meant to kill or be a replacement for Rust or for C++. There's like Zig, there's Odin, there's all this stuff. Jai's coming out at some point. The problem is that all these languages that are meant to kill C++ are young. They're new. There's not much support and not a big ecosystem for a lot of them. And yeah, and then there's a significant investment to get into any of these languages, even no matter how close to C or C++ they are. So, and then there's the risk that you run that you're going to pick up this language and say, hey, I'm going to do this. Also, what's up, Terrell? It's not very cache friendly. He's not very cache friendly of me, man. But there's this risky pick of like saying, I'm going to use this language. And then let's say that language fails and doesn't win the language wars for low level, fast, languages. Well, it kind of sucks for you because you spent all this time trying to make this thing work and happen, and the verdict comes out and it didn't pan out. So what are you going to do? Readapt all your code? Whereas for me, just choosing C++, there's already a lot of support for it. It's a mature language. There's a lot of usage for it. And heck, I can use that knowledge for other game engines. If I want to look at Unreal and how they're implemented, that knowledge transfers. See, can C++ really get replaced though? That's a big question, at least in the near future. Well, they're trying to, right? Like you have this thing where people especially are hailing Rust as the C++ killer because Microsoft posted, hey, null references are the biggest cause of errors for us. And that's a C++ problem. And then the White House said, if you want to write secure code, you should use Rust. And maybe there's a place for Rust to be used, but in a context like games where you're caring more about performance and all that kind of jazz, I found myself ending up writing a ton of unsafe Rust code. And if I'm writing all this unsafe Rust code, what's the point of using Rust instead of just using C or C++, right? Like, and then you also see this whole adaptation of trying to get Rust into the Linux kernel too, which has been a very controversial thing. Linux Rust drama. There's a lot of stuff going on there between Linux maintainers and people who are trying to add Rust support and all this stuff. A lot of friction going on there. Haven't really dealt with Rust. When you say unsafe, do you mean like can eat up a lot of memory quickly? Well, no. So Rust has this very picky set of rules called the borrow checker. And Rust enforces these rules at compile time. So simple things become kind of difficult because you're not doing them in a safe way. Rust, the big thing about Rust is that it guarantees memory safety at compile time if you're using safe Rust and not doing anything too weird. That's the big thing. So Rust is meant to be a language that's very difficult and annoying because you're enforcing all these runtime safety checks at compile time. But after you get over it, it's supposed to be easy because all the code that goes through and gets compiled and runs is going to be largely safe. So that's fine and dandy. You know, if you're following their whole rules of only, you know, allowing one mutable borrow check or one mutable borrow and then, you know, whatever amount of non-mutable borrows. Limits some things. Yes, it greatly limits some things. And that's kind of a big issue I've been running into is that some of the ways you go about dealing with it ends up causing things to be slow. So like, for example, I mean, this is maybe not particularly only a Rust thing. The thing is Rust pushes you to using that compared to other languages. There's this thing called RC. They have reference counted pointers essentially, which is, you know, C++ and C has that kind of stuff. You have unique pointers or whatever, right? But a lot of times you kind of get pushed towards using it to solve mutable mutations of that data that the typical borrow checker rules kind of prevent you from doing. The issue is that messes up kind of cache coherency. So like, we keep talking about it. I'll bring it up though. I think I even talked about it previously. But yeah, they push you to using that kind of solution if you want to stay within safe Rust. But what ends up happening is that you end up with something a bit slower. That sucks. And if you want to bypass that and still be fast, you have to do unsafe Rust. But if you use unsafe Rust, you're bypassing the compile time borrow checker. And if you're doing all this, like, why use Rust in the first place then? If most of your code is not going to be using the main feature that is advertised with the language. This is not the diagram, is it? Super appealing though. So here's the one thing I will say, right? If you're writing a purely systems thing, if you're writing something where security and stability are number one, where you need those things to be the top priority and then everything else are secondary, then yeah, I actually can understand why someone would want to use Rust. It's kind of the same way why NASA doesn't do any heap allocations. They stay all within the stack. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt to not use any form of heap allocation and to have everything be done in the stack, but in NASA's case, all they care about is security and reliability. And if those are your two priorities, then you sacrifice speed, iteration, that kind of stuff. You know, it's a reason why like their aerospace companies have zero bugs ever reported in production, but take decades to release a version of their application or software. They don't care about speed. They're caring about security. So if that's your concern, I could totally see why you'd want to use Rust. You know, if you're doing some server stuff or whatever, fine, do that. I probably am still going to use Rust for this thing called Spacetime DB, which is a backend application or backend network stack. That's pretty cool and pretty cool. And they use Rust. You can use other languages, but you know, stuff like that, I totally get it. But for games, that's not the thing I care about. What I care about is, can I iterate quickly? Can I make it very fast and efficient? Can I do those things that make game development fun? Lies a lot in security, kind of like Lewis purpose lies in a lot of scripting. Yep. Exactly. Yeah, you get the idea. is king, but I'm biased a lot. It was my first language. Yeah, no, technically it was my first language too, but then I kind of dipped it for GML and GameMaker. I mean, C++, if I use C++, I'm not going to use a lot of C++ features, like templating and whatnot. Like, I'm going to treat it basically like C, except with function or operator overloading and some minor quality of life stuff. Yeah, you get the idea. Like, there's it's I'd rather have those things available, but I'm probably gonna avoid them as much as I can. Yeah, a lot of people do that. Yeah, that's how you have a pretty decent time working with that language. Like, if you have the time that gets eaten up by the time that gets eaten up in compilation, dealing with that stuff, with templating and all that stuff, it just makes iteration that much harder and whatnot. Anyways, I think I really haven't gotten much deving, but I think it was a pretty productive conversation anyways. I think this is a pretty fun conversation. I think it'll be time we're getting close to just to playing this game that I've know nothing about. Don't you love downloading random applications from the internet? Isn't that fun? Just saying, hey, itch, I'm going to trust whatever thing this is that you've allowed people to access. Yeah, I think we went through over every topic. Yeah, I mean, we kind of this is a regular kind of manifesto thing I kind of go through at some, like, periodically between, programming languages kind of suck, or Rust kind of sucks, or, using game engines kind of sucks. You should write your own game engine. And like, I feel like I regularly have these kind of conversations at some point or another. But it's always fun. It's always fun. Like, it's the same reason, like, old people like to talk about these, they have their topics they like to yap about. Feels good to go in about it. Do I have audio? I have audio off, don't I? But yeah. Oh, that's a bug. That's a fun bug. Sweet. Another thing to fix. Another thing to fix. Oh, broken game. Yeah, there's like pixel art. There's making your own engine. And then, I don't know, the art of crafting. Gotta go, but hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Hope you found it interesting. And then, yeah. And if you ever do want to share like art for like feedback, we do have the Discord. I think there's a feedback channel there. I haven't done stuff in a while though. But yeah, always glad to yap about art and coding and all that stuff. Yes, Terrell, it's very interesting. But now, the real interesting time part is this game that I've extracted. And let's first check out to see if it's in an engine that we recognize. Okay, it's a Unity game engine. It's a Unity game. I can't wait for the day for people to open up my game and be like, huh, what engine is this? It doesn't have the Unity thing, and it doesn't have the Unreal thing. What is this? And then it's going to get flagged for malware because no company or website or OS recognizes it. That's going to be fun. That sounds like a lot of fun, actually. Let's make a game or a game engine where all the games made in it get flagged for malware. All right, can someone send a message in chat? I need to test to see how aligned this overlay is. 1 second. I'm gonna wait. Here we go. There we go. Aligned. Beautiful. Okay. So we are aligned. Does Twitch even have this game as a category? I wonder if Twitch actually does. It'll be kind of crazy if they do. Incoherent babbling. 1 second. Let's change the category. The category is a 0 _ Abyssal. It is on Twitch. Let's go. All right. We're playing Zero Abyssal somewhere. Let's I guess we just dine in. 1 second, let me just do this. Reset. Okay. So they do say that there is some... Is this made with the older version of Unity? Abyssal somewhere. Zero time, zero start. So they did say there's not really jump scares, but some scary little moments. They warned about it. It is dead. It's somewhere strange. Okay. It wakes up. Oh, is it describing us? So we were dead in a dream? I didn't pay attention what the last sentence was. All right, mouse to look. Nice tutorialization. I'm assuming WASDA. Dead ass. He's literally a dead ass. Who is this person? Is that a knight? Is that Aragorn's sword? It kind of looks like the sword from Lord of the Rings. Okay, I'm not sure what we're in for, so I'm kind of scared, guys. Wheels. Raw slabs of concrete. Okay. The light seems to emanate from the surface. Also, that's the general interact button. Okay. Can I fight? Can I fight? I'm glad I'm not the only one who has very sensitive mouse controls. Can I actually change that? No, look at this. This is a peak game. You press the pause button, the only things you get is to quit or to go back. We need to have games with simple pause options like this. I'm gonna turn off the light so we can be a little bit more dramatic. I would sure like to go. Can I crouch? The game is the game. Oh, we can go around. Is that his metal armor that I'm hearing here? Okay. Raw slabs of concrete. The light seems to emanate from the surface. Alright, am I having a dumb moment? Am I just being dumb right now? What am I missing here? How do I get here? I'm pressing wheels. But they say the same thing. And I go around it. Okay. I guess we were aware that there's raw slabs of concrete that are emanating light. And I don't think there's anywhere else for me to go. There's like this little shower room. I could sit there. Wouldn't that be funny if this is the whole game? That'd be quite amusing. Also interesting that this guy's a knight. But we're like, I'm assuming somewhat modern architecture. Is there like a jump? Is there something I'm missing here? This game's handheld me so far. So I don't think they would introduce a button that I can't... That's needed to... This camp. I'm missing something. Alright, there's this here. Can I walk into it? Oh, I'm dumb. There's a little crevasse there. Ha! You know, the textures kind of remind me of Bobdi. The way they kind of have a limited color space, I'm assuming. Or actually, no, more so it kind of reminds me of... Oh, I forgot. There's that game with... where you have to gamble. And you have a gun or a shotgun. X. Red inscriptions. Okay. There are inscriptions engraved on the iron. Many are occluded by rust, and most are unreadable. One on the doorframe you can read. One cannot tell if this is a shrine or a cell. Oh, I tried putting on some effects. Oh, that's a wrong effect. I'm sorry, I'm trying to... One second. I'm trying to add some ambiance. There we go. One cannot tell if this is a shrine, cell, or catacomb. Evenly spread as stillness goes, all the way through the depths. Okay. So we are not sure what this is. We just know it just goes through here. Okay. Go to bars when the mixtape comes out. When the mixtape coming out? I have nothing witty to say. It comes out when it comes out. It comes out when the game's out. Though today I was thinking about, I was in Walmart today and I saw vinyls and I was wondering, because I see, you go to Walmart and you see vinyls and you only see vinyls of the classics, the greats, the hits. And I was wondering, what if I took the music from Messy Mansion and had it pressed into a vinyl? Like as a rare thing to give to people. That'd be kind of cool. But how costly is it? I tried looking for places, but they only say they'll give you a quote. They don't give you a hard estimate. This is like a very big kind of cabin. And this has like modern architecture. Like you see there's rebar sticking. It looks like rebar. Maybe it was railings that just kind of gotten sheared off. I'm not sure how that would happen. How like someone would yoink the top rail and bend all these like CPU pens that got bent by someone, a 5-year-old first time building their PC, which is me. I think it's more plausible this is rebar and then a concrete wall was here and then fell over. I mean, it would explain kind of the state of things and this weird lump that... Ooh, that's a face. I just realized there's a face there. I feel a little scared. Also, one second. Let me also get the Twitch chat so I can read it. Where is a reasonable place for Twitch chat? Because it turns out a CRT is not the greatest place to read text. It's kind of crazy. All right, so we have a face here. Hi, Mr. Face. Can we not interact with you? You can't jump in this game as well. I feel very restricted by that. I guess we're not going to acknowledge the face. We're just going to... Like, what is that contraption? I guess we move forward. But yeah, looking at this railing, I think it's just likely a concrete wall that just got pushed over. But then it's like all going to the side. Is that... Okay. I thought we were going really dark for a second. I thought it was a body hanging from the wall. My imagination is not helping me. Am I back? Is this... No, this is not... Is this pulling a PT on me? Okay, no, this is different. There's a face there, too. Why is there faces at every single... This is considered a statue? Something's coming. I hear something. This figure of stone has a crooked face. Whatever's inside lost its will to get out. I'm putting out the light back on. We're putting the light, guys. We're going to put on the light. I feel like I need a light. The fog is coming. You hear that? There's something. There's something moving here. I don't like this. Maybe I picked the wrong game. Ah! What is this? I'm hearing something. I'm hearing something. Ah! Maybe I'm just being a baby. Is this the same stuff? Oh. We're locked in. You feels your sand's crawling on your back. Yes, I do. My sand's crawling. Why are we moving this so slowly? Mr. Skeleton, Mr. Armor Dude. Oh my goodness, you're messing with me, man. No wonder you're dead. You have zero survival instincts. The universe had to will you back into existence. There's no mask there. Why is that? Oh, there's a light source. Oh, there's a sword. Hey, I'm assuming that's a sword. Can I engage in I have a sword, though. Point. It's pointing. Are you pointing me? A harpoon point is lodged into the stone. It's sharp and of indecipherable material. Take it out? Yes. Why is there an option here? Ow. I took it out. Can I not fight? Can I not kerfuffle? You know, it's one thing if a game doesn't afford you the option to jump or whatever. Is the fact that the characters like has these weapons and things that kind of communicate that there is a way to that you could fight, but you interacting doesn't let you do that. That is a cool effect. That's a cool shader effect. Oh, it's like being projected onto the surfaces. Oh, it's like doing what we're doing, like the XYZ or XY projection. Yeah, don't say that. It's right behind you. Your butt. Yeah, that's true. My butt is down. Is behind me. It seems too dark to be water. Okay. There's something going on there. Is there like a video playing? It looks like almost like a hand or something. Is this the whole game? We can just hang out here, dude. We don't have to go. We don't have to keep walking. We could just call this the game and be happy with this. Why did I choose to play this? I thought it was like a walking sim. What? It's messing with me. It's messing with me. Or I'm messing with me. My psychology is just not up for this. I hate. Look, they have a dark corner there that's just facing the abyss. It's like that. You know, you hear a noise at night and you have to go out of your room and just like turn a corner and you're not sure what to expect. You're assuming it's nothing, but it's never a probability of 0. It's a timeout corner. It's when you go when you did bad. When you spilt the milk. No. It's when you kept bugging your mom when she's on the phone. I don't like this this camera angle. Oh. Hi there. Hi there, pal. You don't look too good. You're looking a little dehydrated. Maybe you should drink some of that not water over there. Very comforting. A dead person. Is that barbed wire they're holding on to? Was that by choice or enforced? It looks tied to them. It seems to be holding the door shut. They died underwater drowning. Oh, that does not sound appealing at all. The body is tangled between the door and a wire. Okay, so it's not barbed wire. Or maybe it is. A harpoon point could snap it. Crack the wire? I guess we do. Like, how... Like... Does the game let me keep going forward if I don't choose the harpoon? The door handle is still completely stuck. The body was holding something. A stone scripture. It tells of how it rained, and how they were sorry, and of weeping, and to please stop the water. Okay, is this the people? Is this like Noah's Ark? And the people who didn't get on board, who weren't... Is this like the tale of those people? Weeping and to please stop the water. Sorry to whom? I don't know. Johnny, did the rain dance too hard? Suppose so. Well, that's not very happy. So the handle's broken off. And we don't know who they're sorry to. So cool. We have, I hate these camera angles are messing with me. Do we jump down? Can we go in here and side? No, we can't crouch over. Crouching is not in this person's vernacular. And they say that they're sorry as well. So that's an interesting, weird detail. Is there some element of someone doing something wrong or being the perpetrator of a wrong? They apparently must, if this is a tablet, it was written by this person, then it must have started flooding slowly. It wasn't an abrupt thing. Like they just got plunged into it. It's like, hey, it's like that Chinese torture thing where they just drip a little bit of water on you, except a lot more extreme. It feels like the game is telling me to go down here. I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. Oh, this is floor. This isn't a drop off. Okay, no, it was a drop off. Can I go back up? I really want to go back and explore. Okay. I can't go through the pipe. That sounds like some Delta P scenario. Have you ever seen that stuff? Angle camera views, yeah. The Dutch. Yeah, Dutch. I don't like these Dutch angles, man. Yeah, we're in the trenches. If you ever see Delta P videos like this, that's very horrific. When you see the things that happen to people when caught in a Delta P scenario. Look at this, the resolution. That's pretty interesting for the light map. And the light's coming from there. It's projecting over here. Very cool. Very dapper person. I think it's the first time we saw them in actual lighting. That's crazy. I'm so used to not lighting. Okay. Platforming with without a jump button. Very cool. Okay. There's no game over. We just keep going. Okay, I'm gonna assume that this is intentional. I don't like this corridor of darkness. Yeah, Dark Souls moment, honestly. Very cool. I don't like this wide open space. It feels like something ripe for combat. When others are close, who is getting close to me? Who's getting close to me? Press R to take arms. Oh, no, that's so ominous. That means someone's gonna fight me. Oh, you look elegant, my friend. You look... space to swing? I can't just click? This guy is so elegant. Okay, I can't click. I can't click as well. Give me my arms back. This guy looks so elegant. I feel prepared for any form of combat we may partake in. I would like more light, but I suppose that is simply too much to ask. Okay. Oh, that's a screen space thing. They're doing like a screen space effect on the shader. That's interesting. Oh, so you can only reveal them like... There's a couple of them when they're in your periphery like this. Can I shield? I would like to shield. Alright, I guess there's no talking out of it. There's no Undertale. Let's talk it over, buddy. I guess we're only faced with combat. Can I get this drop on you? Oh, that's just... Oh, you're coming back. You're coming back. Get out of here. Oh, you just don't leave. You just stay... Are you coming back? Get out. Get. Okay, so there's no killing here. There's only... Oh, this feels like Death Stranding. Like the PTs, where you can't see them, but you can know when they're getting closer due to environmental cues. Get out. Or not environmental cues, or cues and also BB. Can you get... Oh my goodness. This feels weird. It doesn't feel like combat. It feels more like... I feel like a rioter. Not a rioter. I feel like a police officer at a riot. Get in line! Get! Like they're not... I feel like I'm just corralling animals. Okay. What? Where are we? Where am I? Are we back? We're back in the start. Okay, cool. That's a very cool seamless transition. I like that actually. I quite like that. All right, get out of here. So they're less so about like HP, and they're more so about kind of inconveniencing you in the platforming sections. That's interesting. I like that actually. That's very aggressive sounding. So they're more so just like an environmental inconvenience. Okay. Get boy. Get. There's something ain't right about that boy. Oh, I got knocked down. Oh, that's a wild way to get up. He doesn't just get up normally, he just reset. He revives. Yeah, he just gets knocked down. So this is like a convenience thing. Like, hey, if you fail to fight these enemies, you just have to spend more time getting back to where you are and potentially have to get up again. Okay. Very unnerving that you can't see them properly unless, like, get up. But I kind of like this. Dude, honestly, our character freaks me out more than these guys. Oh. What are you people? So what's going on here? They're holding on. These are like actually normal people. It seems like they have the silhouettes of normal people, but they're holding on to this like ghost of these railings. Interesting. And that causes me to wonder why. Okay. Oh, you're telling me level that I need to jump. Wow. That is like the worst advice you can. All right. And that's normal architecture. That's just asphalt. That's just a road. Okay, so what is this? What is this place meant to represent? Is it the human world in a PTS situation where it's a future and something's caused some metaphysical things to manifest? Or is it a is this much more like a representational thing? I don't know. It's cool that they don't have like a checkpoint either. It's like the last place that you're standing at is like your checkpoint. Oh, they just brought me they brought me to where I'm supposed to go. Oh, okay, it seems like they're holding balloons. That's what I'm gonna tell myself. That's what it looks like. They're holding balloons. Okay, more into this nightmare environment. Very cool. Not uncomfortable at all. And a walkway to the nether. Very cool. I did preface with "you are dead" or "it's dead." So the narrator is treating this thing as a thing. I wonder if it's going for like the meta idea of like, oh, this is just a vessel for the player, and it's dead until the player arrives to puppeteer it. I mean, it would kind of fit with the way the player revives upward. Like, it isn't like they're not physically wrestling to get up. It's like they're being pulled up by strings. Okay. Again, we just keep jumping. Lower and lower. That's a cool effect. It's like a platform, and then they all just get moved aside. That's a cool kind of fog effect. Just a bunch of planes. I dig that. Yeah, I'm gonna keep my arms out. From below the gates emerged unstoppable giants. From below the gates. And headless and of stone, they came on their own free will. Yet no one really knew why. Okay. Those who could took the harpoon and waited. Okay. Well, we took the harpoon. We definitely did not wait. Are we back here again? And they say they appear below the bridge, so I'm assuming they're gonna appear down there? I mean, we have one half of the puzzle here. I mean, we have the harpoon that we took. And do we just wait? There's entities there. That is nuts. The fact that you have to look away from them to be able to see them is super interesting. This is really cool, actually. Unnerving, but cool nonetheless. They're like holding the bar. It's as if they're in a train. Like, you know how in a train or in a bus, there's like those vertical poles they can hold onto as you try to commute if there's no seats and no one wants to be a gentleman and give you their seat. So are these the ghosts of people who, I don't know, whose buses crashed or something, or fell victim to that 60 miles per hour bomb thing? Freaky. 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 They have colliders. X to push. It's freaking me out how they appear behind me as well. Like, they're not doing anything. It's just... Can I just keep walking and walking and walking? They're kind of moving. But these entities seem... They can interact with us, but they're like in a separate realm or something. I wonder if this loops back. What happened? What is that? What was that? Is it the Giants? I don't like these levels. I don't like this. I don't like this. Yeah, I'm gonna turn my volume down. Something's close. Ah! What is that? What are they? Why are you fighting? Why are you fighting me? Oh, they have harpoons. Is that harpoons? What is that? Is that the Giants? Is that the Giants that came? What was that? Are you mad because I didn't take the stairs? What was that? This doesn't feel right, dude. This feels wrong. The stone is slippery. He got ganked by Taboo from him. Waves roar below. Okay, it's raining. We're back where we started. I wonder if we're gonna get some significance into the wheels. The place is flooded and it's raining currently. I'm so perplexed. Is this like submerged now? Is there a pathway here? Is there a pathway there this entire time? Did I neglect that the first time around? Are we gonna have context for these wheels that are emitting light, and now it's blinding amounts of light? I wonder if this game has multiple endings. Because we definitely did our forwarded choices, either explicitly or implicitly, by either going down that walkway or not. That's a red aura. We should probably not go towards there, shouldn't we? And is that the roadway? No, it's not. Okay, what is this? X to read inscription. There are inscriptions engraved on the iron. All of them without exception are unreadable. Okay, so we can't go there. That's not a good place for us, so I suppose we'll keep moving forward. This place is flooded, and I'm assuming this is what caused the person to die? To drown in that other room that we went to? I wonder if this is a game where choices actually have meaning. Now, there's this thing I've been thinking about in terms of what? Who just tickled me? I don't like that tickling. Let's get away from me. Okay. Move forward. Okay. Stop tickling me. I want to be touched. I don't like this. I don't like being touched like this right now. It's a hand, correct? Is that a hand? Is that like the giants? Do we flood it and drown the giants? I'm trying to piece this together. Take his arms. Sorry, my guy. Cell phones is kind of bad. Going through shower tunnel. Take his arms. It's all good. Shower tunnels. Oh, I can arm myself. Ah! I don't like being blasted by bloom. Is there no... I can't tell if we're looping through places or if... No, that's... Just stop touching me! I don't like being touched. You're in my no-no zone. Yeah, I'm trying to piece together these elements that the game has kind of set up. Are the masks? They're there. Less visible, but they're there. And then this is the place that... Let's go down here. I kind of want to see the area. Watch this. I don't like this. What is this under... like... Did we turn into one of them? No, we're not. We're still a knight. But why? Why are these guys free floating? Where are these shadows? Can we escape? Oh, maybe I didn't even have the choice to do that. Maybe we're just funneled into doing it. Oh, did I do an attack? Oh, he sheathed it. No, we need. Oh, I can't unsheath it. All I hear is Category 5 hurricane winds right now. Are you actual? Oh, wait 1 second. I'm just checking my audio. Okay. So they're touching me. There's a shadow behind me. Let's just keep moving forward. Keep moving. Let's not be touched. I'm joking about the same. Okay, the audio. Okay, yeah. Let's see the game audio. Okay, yeah, make sure. Just making sure. We're being touched. Ah, this feels... Oh, no. Oh, it feels like we're in a... Oh, no. What? Red lights? Is that a skull on my shield? Am I just interpreting... Maybe I'm just having a Rorschach moment. Listening to whispering. I guess we listen to the whispers. 16 whispers whisper. 1 second, let's make this a little dramatic. A little dramatic. 16 whisperers whisper 16 words. They tell of holding all the blame. Of their covered bodies. Of being concealed into harsh concrete. Even though they speak and weep and feel sorry and lonely, but underwater it all seems gibberish. Is it meant for someone else? Oh my goodness, what is this? What is this? Are we on a train? Oh my goodness. That Smash Bros reference is starting to become more and more relevant. Voices, water, and rain seem distant now. We're back where we started. AZ. What is this? What are you? I thought it was a... Is it Anvil or something? I don't want to get too close. What is that? Is that like a wreckage? Okay. What am I supposed to glean from this? It's a weird sight with the angel wings behind like this Mary looking figure. I'm not sure what to make of it. What do you say now? What do you say? You say nothing? Very well. I guess we move forward past these large wheels. What horrors await us here now? Can we sheath? Well, is this more clear? Can we understand what's happening here? Is this like a murder mystery thing now? There are inscriptions graved upon the iron. Many are occluded by rust and most are unreadable. One on the door frame you can read. Below was found still intact, yet they were in fragments. They don't think in other the soothing presence of the gate and their watchfulness. They don't think nor realize they make this anxious. Okay, so this is adding to this idea. Because the stuff they described before almost seemed like it had the imagery as if these people were killed and encased, like 16 people encased, sealed and encased in concrete, and then submerged in water. And then this seemed almost like an autopsy, almost. Where it described that they're intact, but still separated. I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to put in a simple explanation for this. Face? What do you mean face? What do you mean face? What do you mean? Faces. Happy hi. Hey y'all. Welcome to my armor channel. We're going to be talking about the top 10 armors of 2025. Oh, my bad. Top 10 armors of 1865. This is my armor vlog channel. Oh, my goodness. Why was that prompt for face? Oh, was it talking about the face by the wheel? Oh, maybe I'm just dumb. Maybe I'm just being dumb. Maybe I'm just being a fool. The face is... Yeah, face. The face of a creature deprived of a name. It barely shines. Face of a creature. Very dehumanizing language. One second, let me get chat back up. I'm trying to... I need the company, man. I can't play this by myself. I feel scared. I feel scared, man. I feel a little terrified. Okay, just gonna keep moving. Don't ellipses me. I need the company. I'm scared. Petrified. And I also want to understand. Statue. These are the bodies of the once watchers. Of the once watchers. They have been put under jagged rocks, so that they may not go further, for theirs is the nature of stone, and the nature of life is not so. I'm really wrestling. Is there a symbolic thing to this, where this is like everything we're seeing is kind of symbolic towards a real event? Not real in our world, hopefully, but more of a fictional event in this world. Or is it like a diegetic thing where these things are what they are? It's not allegorical. Turn. I can turn this now? Why? That's kind of interesting. I was trying to do an effect like that recently for Messy Mansion. Why? Okay, you know, I'm fine with more light. As long as there's nothing else going on here. Of watchers. Why is this random symbols? It's always different each time. Still, and it stops time. Still the humans taught them of life. And they felt it was such the hardship. And they felt compassion. Taught them of life. And they felt it was such the hardship. It was such the hardship? What? Like it was hard for the humans to teach them of life, and they felt compassion. They felt compassion in reciprocation of that. I'm not sure. What are you? What are you? Why are you getting closer? What is this? What are you? Do you see that thing? I can't unsheath my weapon. Why am I scared of a line? I don't trust the line though. I don't trust what the line could be. Why is that the spear that was once there and no longer is there? I don't like this. I don't like this. I'm petrified. Okay. Tell. They taught the humans the secrets of heaven and earth, and in their compassion they were humans, and they were lost. Okay, so these entities taught humans of heaven and earth, and in their compassion they were human, and they were lost. So we have these creatures that were of stone, but then were taught by humans of life, I think. And in reciprocation, they showed humans about heaven or hell. Kind of like a spiritual enlightenment thing, I'm assuming. And as a result, what? They were lost. What does that mean? Jump? You're giving me the option to jump into this? I know I wanted to earlier, but now I feel kind of perplexed. I'm not sure I want to do that. If I should do that, I don't know. Who am I to... Do you think there's anything over there? I mean, last time I ignored this, we had a bad time. I don't think I even go over there. It looks blocked. Okay, I guess we jump. I guess we just jump. Very dramatic way. What was that? You just kind of... Okay. This is the land of Ka Dagir Ra. Unless it's eyes, Kai Dagiri Ra. It faced doom 6,000 years ago. Ironclad being. It has to be crossed to get to the underworld. And to heaven next. Oh my goodness. Okay, get blast processed, nerd. There one may ask life itself. There one may ask life itself. Is life like an entity? Why you are the only one alive? That's some cool lighting over there. Makes me drawn to go there. Well, if I'm the only one who's alive, what were those other entities? And is this some sort of limbo? Yeah, I'm still on the fence. It seems less like a symbolic or allegory, and more so like it has a concrete lore to this world. And there's the wheels. There's the wheels again. Okay, we're just gonna keep walking. I'm cool with this. Was there a path this entire time? And I just didn't follow it? Oh, that's a light source. I'm not casting any shadows. It's just, that's how bright this light source is. Oh, it is. A little shadow. They had some crazy bloom. I love the visual effects. They're all kind of interesting, weird, and quirky. Ha! I'm assuming your life? And are we fighting you? Aha! Oh, music? Ha! Get juked, nerd! Get juked! Do you die? What happened to these entities? What happened to these? So, you're pushing me back way too far. Oh, there's so many entities preventing me from going there. Oh, I didn't reach. But you missed like a nerd. And if you knock me, you're gonna knock me close. Do I have to beat all of these guys? Is that what's happening here? But there's new ones coming in, right? Like that guy just wasn't there before. Are they just missing? I'm faster than you. Oh, who's that? And he's different than the others. Are those faces? Like smiley faces? Bossu! Hey, I guess this is the Bossu fight. Big Bossu! Big Bossu! It feels like I'm slapping in the butt. Bam! Yeah, so he doesn't like me getting close to him. Is the number of these entities decreasing? No, they're coming back to life. And they're getting brighter, if I'm not mistaken. No, their weapons seem to be brighter. Okay, I guess we're just gonna have to deal with these guys. Dark Souls. It's kind of nice that this game is telling... It's actually really interesting, but mechanically, like, there's not... The combat's not that crazy. I got hit. Are they gonna come back? Like, your options are either swing or don't swing. And of course movement too, but... Get out of here. Get! And I get into this no-no zone, I get knocked over. That sucks. So I wonder if these guys stayed down as long as I don't get knocked. Yeah, the key seems to be to just get close to them. You have to get into your no-no zone to hurt you. I understand. It's easy. But they're back though. Oh, I just have to get that guy? Okay, and this is a little glitchy looking. I can't move. You're just gonna lie down? Oh my goodness, the hurricane winds, dude. These are wastes. Don't talk about your subjects like that. And the wheels are there. There are only remnants of ghosts here and beyond. Okay. And of beings of stone. Hey, the beings that we were reading about earlier. What could anyone seek in these places? I'm assuming an answer. Insight, knowledge. What happened to you, buddy? Ow. Maybe I shouldn't have looked at him. Oh no! Oh no! What did you just hit, dude? Our character is cool, man. Mighty and strong. What is this? But death is so much more cold. What is this? It's no fairy tale, okay? They're cold fossilized existence. Why am I being dragged around? I can't control it. I'm moving really fast and no one sees, okay, and understands in underwaters. And under regrets and under fears. And to wander. That's a very sad interpretation of death. And what it takes. Where it takes to be the other. Attack triggers to slash through. Try straight to him. I'm being knocked. Burger.png. Hit him with the subliminal messages. You want to give me burger.png. Can I anticipate where you're gonna hit? Oh, you just kind of hit. A wide range of areas. Okay, we're getting closer. Aha! I have found the weeds. Wastes. Home Depot. Architecture. Antennas. Not by whim. It's how it came to be. That the waters of the flood were upon the earth. We're right with the theological connection, like a Noah's Ark thing. Yet it walks. I mean, this clearly has theological imagery. Yet it is named. Oh, it ES. Who's ES? Why am I this little pawn looking, squid looking thing? All these knights. Speen! Yes, Lucas Speen. Or you were speening. Dude, this game is... I am struggling to understand it. And there's this big entity. Oh, Abyssal somewhere. Hey, the game name! Game title! Game title! Game title! The end. Okay, so we become part of this portrait. Adjacent to this image, this entity. And we come back to this 3D world. Oh, they're both here. And we're getting hit with all this imagery. Ah! What was that? If I left it playing, what would have happened? Can I press continue? Where are we? Is this after? I can't control myself. Okay, it says right at this chapter. Okay. Okay. I think this was the game. This was the game. Yeah, and we're back to this beginning part. Executioner put him to the subwoofer. It faced... Yeah, we're gonna quit. Well, that was an experience. I don't even know what to make of it. I really don't. I think I have to actually look through the video or play through it again. I'm probably just gonna watch the VOD if I'm gonna be honest with you. And like, I need to actually I need to make a transcript of what was said here. Can I poke around with the data? Resources. I can see default resource. I mean, I guess nothing I can normally see. I mean, there's nothing in there. Manage. I can see there's C++ solution. I don't think it's solution. I think it's just DLLs. It should just be DLLs. I don't know what to make of this, honestly. It seems to be more tying to the symbolic. Like, there's like two levels you can kind of think about. In fact, you can even think about reality in this way. To a certain degree. Where there's like this... like there's always this kind of dichotomy between... like, the concrete. Or let's say the physical. And the other element. The metaphysical. The concrete, or the literal, and the symbolic. You can look at a lot of works in this type of level, right? Between whether it's literal what it is, or it's symbolic, or metaphorical, whatever, right? And usually, in it's kind of very direct. You know, when you watch Lord of the Rings, for example, there is a real place that exists, and these characters are real in their universe. In the world of Tolkien, Frodo is Frodo. The ring is the ring. Sauron is Sauron. The Shire is the Shire. These are like kind of the physical elements of that world, the tangible, the literal. They are describing what they are. And then maybe if you want to go further, you can do a metaphysical or symbolic analysis of it and think about it in terms of in that level where, hey, Frodo no longer is what he is, or the ring no longer is what it is. It represents something else. In the case of Lord of the Rings, you could do a theologically like Christian analysis of it. The ring symbolizes sin and the weight it carries and how it corrupts everyone who comes to it. So it's very distinct that that's what's happening here. In this game, I feel in this game, I'm kind of struggling to see where these things lie. There's some things that feel very concrete, like the stone people that they describe there. There's this knight, and even the idea of knights, because at the very end there's images of all these other knights that you're kind of walking past. There's the people, the ghosts are kind of a concrete concept. They also mentioned giants as well, which I'm not sure who or what those things are. Beyond just things, there's also events like a flood, the rain, or the flood that's described in this game at the very beginning. Can I even start the game from? Can I start the game from? I wish there's like a chapter select. Just so I can look at. There we go. Just so I can look at, replay certain parts of this, and kind of piece together what is going on here. So there's this stuff that's operating in like the physical / literal world of this game. But then you're just like, okay, what do these things kind of point to? But I can't even start thinking about this metaphysical / symbolic stuff until we kind of have all this stuff in inventory. Like, there's this idea of what death is, and this values that this entity at the very end ascribes to it. And I think at the very beginning, it kind of prompts it, calls it life, like as if life is a real person or entity. And it has its own ideas of what death is and what life is in contrast. Oh my goodness, so much. Like, there's so much in this game to try to pick apart. And then, like, there's even the flashes of imagery there, right? Like, is that a real thing the character's experiencing? Am I just the one who's meant to experience it, the player? Yeah, it's dead. Oh, I started from over. Quit, yes. Dang it. Can we look at the VOD while the stream is going on? This is such a really cool idea, though. Zero Abyssal somewhere. That's such a cool, or O Abyssal somewhere. Does it start from the beginning, or is it starting from? No, I lost my progress. I lost my progress. Can we speedrun this? Yeah, I don't. This is gonna be on my brain for a little bit. I don't want to watch a YouTube analysis, because we, at the very top of the stream, I talked about this idea of knowledge pollution, where you engage with a work, whether it be a book, movie, game, whatever, and there's always this kind of at least for me, there's the knee-jerk reaction I used to have of trying to find a video analysis about this. Or analysis somewhere online about what this is, with Braid or whatever, a blog post or something that explains what this stuff is meant to mean or whatever. But once you have that person's analysis or interpretation in your brain, it kind of pollutes your brain. You can't not see that version of it. And it kind of limits the scope of what you can look at or what you can kind of interpret from it. By Rust and most are unreadable. One on the door frame you can read. One cannot tell if this is shrine, cell, or catacomb. Evenly spread as stillness goes, all the way through the depths. Okay, so I'm not gonna play through this game again. At least not right now. But yeah, this is super interesting. Super duper interesting stuff. I'm gonna have a lot to think about, and I encourage you to also give this a look at too. All right, I think that was Zero Abyssal. Where do we go from here? Beyond just trying to pick this game apart even more. Makes you want to kind of just try playing the game. I guess we come back to our game. That's such a cool game, dude. I want to try to understand what this is. Oh man, I am perplexed. I am perplexed. I am perplexed by this. Super cool though. Super freaking cool. I keep saying it. Also, like, a lot of cool little visual effects. Like the fact that you have to move objects at an angle to be able to see the entities from the periphery of your eyes, that's a cool touch too. I don't know if there's any meaning to it, but at least for me, it makes me feel anxious and kind of claustrophobic. Maybe not claustrophobic, but just really anxious that something's about to come and scare me. Either way, really cool. Really, really cool stuff. Man, I don't even want to start working on my game. There's like a lot to digest here. I don't know about anybody else. I don't even know what to do. Yeah. I think I might just call the stream here, man. We had a cool experience. Stuff to reflect on. Not flex on. No, reflect on. Things to think about. And yeah, maybe I'll post a transcript of the game somewhere on Discord too, or available somewhere, in case anybody else wants to see it. But yeah, I think I'll end stream here, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate the company, and I hope you have a good one. Till then, peace.